Welcome to Loleventvods. Watch the full game of today's LPL 2025 matchup.
Here in the Cassante, a very strong blind and very few matchups that actually make this champion unplayable.
Unplayable. Does give away the Ashe to the red side. JDG maybe not going to gobble it up just yet. This is a weird feeling, and they're potentially going to be locked in. Oh, we're having a couple different things. We do see the Jace get locked in. We did see Scout, I believe, play the tank Jace. Did he take that mid for JDG in the series win?
Yes,
yeah,
he did.
okay.
He played it into, that was obviously up against Ultra Prime, and
Yep.
I'm trying to remember the matchup. Maybe it was the Aurora game that we saw from Ultra Prime. That sounds about right in my head. But that was also a game that they played with Zig, so I thought that they really did a really fine job of actually kind of playing around this champion. And so we'll see from JDG where this Jace is going. I love the flexibility, especially like you were saying, multiple players on the squad being able to pick up this champion. OMG continuing their skirmishers. 80 skirmishers are really strong. Interesting to me is no Vi priority. Vi has been one of the strongest, if not second most contested junglers, 80 junglers on the patch, aside from something like Wukong. So going for the Xin Sao means that they want a lot more skirmishing, and I want to see what they're pairing alongside with Linfeng. Because like we said, those melee mids have been huge. I think Yone starts to come into the conversation, but Ashe Braum is a super potent bot lane duo.
You want to be careful picking pretty AD heavy comps into a Braum already showing, especially if you might get that tank Jace. If you're afraid of that as well, it could be pretty dangerous the damage profile. I was curious if JDG with that Jace mid, and you talked about the fact that they didn't have the Ziggs bot with Pays, maybe they try and get that Zyra a bit early for Shun, but they are going to go with the Braum Ashe combination. I expect maybe OMG to throw a ban over there. It's interesting. Both these teams, I want to see where they decide to try and lean towards that AP damage if they want it. Because like you talked about, Linfeng, more melee AD champion so far. And Scout is now, we expect to be off of his mainly AP champion pool. So that's why you're seeing the Nico ban be thrown over there. OMG could supplement that with Moham in the bottom lane. Not anymore.
Okay, so JDG have a couple of options for their bans. We already see the Nico. I was wondering if they were going to get rid of also the Renata or the Rakan here. Renata for the 2v2 would be nice, and so far what JDG, the only problem is that your ultimate does get eaten up by the Unbreakable, so I think more so looking towards the Rakan as we go further here. And the Zyra ban, this has been really perplexing to me, because I think we're starting to see the different champions or the different kind of scrim bubbles across the LPL. There are some teams and some groups that have zero Zyra presence, but this group, alongside something, I think the LGD versus WE series, that was also a ban that stayed throughout all three of the games. We're starting to see what teams have been really practicing against each other and kind of those internal metas that have been developing, and Zyra has been one of them. Obviously, into a bunch of melees, I think it would have been great, but you're going to be seeing that from Shun, at least for game one.
Yeah, even Beishuan picked it up for the first time in Thunder Talk series, so you saw it going into Group C as well. Nidalee, yeah, they're good. I like this from OMG because they're expecting if there's going to be any AP, it's going to come in the jungle, but this is always a nice pick to land on. R4 Vi for JDG, I mean, Shun is just, he's got to be loving it.
He's got full engage practice, and that's what we want to see. When Shun has done so well, it has been when he has keys to the jungle, when he's able to start fights, he can kind of do whatever he wants. He's a little bit of a madman in the jungle in that manner. So what pairing are we getting from Linfeng and Hung here? Aurora has been very strong, and this was actually two of our teams that have shown a lack of Aurora priority. So already we're seeing that here in game one. What are JDG going to be looking for? If you're picking up this Vladimir, again, we're waiting to see where this Jace is going to be flexed. Honestly, I could even see this Vladimir going topside. You're not really worried about playing against Cassante very early on. It is a range versus melee matchup. And all the name of the game is for Vladimir is being able to get to 1 and 2 items. You rock up to an Otacon fight, and you're just enhancing the amount of damage alongside something like a tank Jace who has so much armor crush. You have it alongside the Vi, who again does complement the armor penetration that you're going to have available to you, opening up, again, all of these 80 champions that are on the side of JDG.
It's interesting, though, because we've talked about Scout has a Jace game under him. But JDG want to show that flexibility with this champion.
Okay.
Looks like Allah is going to take the Jace top, and we are going to get that Vladimir mid that we're a little bit surprised to I'm a bit surprised at this point to see how much prio Vladimir mid. We've now seen it in a couple of games. I remember I think it was Xiaohao that brought it out the first time in one of the very first series, and ever since then we've seen a couple of mid laners really enjoying leaning into this pick.
It's one of the picks that I think is only possible because we are in full Fearless, right? You're thinking to yourself, okay, we have a lot of great champions that we've already, I think, spent some of our draft budget on for the entirety of a best of 5. We can kind of throw in some of these wacky picks. I don't think if we were back in the, Corkies every single game, more of like some of the standard matchups between two mages, but now you have a situation where you come into full Fearless and you're like, okay, we have Vi, we have Ashe, we can kind of fool around with some of these champions, and they do still bring, I think, a lot of great team fighting. I think that's why we're also seeing Vladimir, is if you can get out of what is a really abysmally weak laning phase, your team fighting is super insane. It is all about moving and positioning that kind of makes or breaks this kind of champion.
I like the Vladimir when you got the setup, and like you pointed out, you got more than enough setup for this Vladimir from Scout. As we are on to the Rift for game number 1. Conversation always begins with, will we see any lane swapping? Been very prevalent nonetheless across this split so far, but JDG are looking to already kind of push the tempo and take over this bottom river. There is a ward drops on the way out there from Hung, so he is going to likely be able to track if any vertical jungle gets forced here, but for the time being, he is being forced out of this bottom quadrant.
OMG are never allowed to walk up against this bottom lane. I mean, it is Ashe Braum, right? Like, this is one of the most potent level 1s you can get. They are clearing this, so we'll see where OMG are going to go. It looks like we're moving straight into what was going to potentially be a lane swap. I don't think they would have preferred to play against this. I think the 2v2 prowess and the amount of damage that is available, but they don't have a sweeper anymore. So this lane invade onto the top side, they're trying to cut off Xun from the rest of his camps and make the map split really unfun to play with. So now with this ward, they'll spot out the bottom lane. Pays and missing. They were going to walk towards bottom lane.
Yeah.
They knew that Cassante is there with that early ward they placed into the river. And then we're getting a fight over the Raptors.
Yeah. Hung is trying to get to level 2 as quickly as he can here. As missing does throw a Q out. Hung should be able to secure that off these last couple of Raptors. No, the volley steals it from Pays, so Hung is going to be trapped at level 1. And you can see that Schwinn on the other side is just immediately sprinting to those other Raptors. Off level 2, no. Yeah, he's just playing for mid. Vault breaker forward, gets Linfeng caught immediately. Hung goes in with his only dash, his only ability to E, and it's going to end up just being a trade of HP as all these lanes are just starting to fire already as we see the Braum Ashe oppression begin in the top side.
Maybe we just have to stop doing level 1s, man, from OMG, because now I've seen this for their first game against Weibo. Moham got caught out level 1, and it kind of ruined their laning phase. Now we're here. I love this stat for a team like OMG. They've been one of the longer standing orcs here in the LPL. 1,000 total games as an organization, 5th most in the entirety of the league, which kind of speaks to their reputation and how long they've been in, but I mean, you look at their recent standings, it has not been anything very pretty for the org. So hoping to maybe make a change to that. Maybe I think if they can end top 8 this year, that would be, I think, a huge accomplishment and something a little bit different than what we've seen from them recently.
We do see in the mid lane that Scout has to burn that Ghost as a bit of a respect towards Linfeng's early damage. So early back forced, and Scout obviously going to feel a bit of pain there as he is not taking the teleport. Going to give Linfeng some pretty good agency to get at least a wave lead, if not more, onto Scout.
Slayer, I was talking about this yesterday because I was able to guest over on the LPL Revival broadcast. This is something I picked up from one of our favorite founders here at LPL English, Kelsey Moser. Mid priority is just fake, guys. Every year I have to hear about we can push through mid, move to the other side of the map, but then every year, for some reason, especially around Worlds time, mid laners are Akali, Silas, and now we're getting Vladimir. These are not champions that scream to me, I'm one-shotting the minion wave and moving, especially in the first couple of minutes in the game. Once Scout finishes an item or two, he can just press QE and the mini wave kind of disappears, but first 15 minutes, I don't think I'm expecting too much from Scout, and we'll see what Xun is able to do as, again, it is up to him. to kind of get the ball rolling, make sure that we're playing for these feats of strength that are available. We haven't had the first blood yet, 4 minutes in. We do have grubs in about a minute and a half, dragon spawning in 40, and if they want to swap, they can. You already see that the Ashe and Braum are going to be kind of coming back and picking up this wave. It'll be in about a 30-second timer if they want to try to make a move here.
Hung trying to see if he can revisit the camp he stole, as Moham also getting a bit aggressive in that top red quadrant. But the wards are going to be cleared out by Missing. They do grab the Scuttle Crab in a pretty timely manner, as those first set of grubs, like you called out, all will hit the Rift with that up. But you do kind of expect JDG to have potential control over that side of the map. This is the power of these two lanes that we didn't get to talk too much about in the draft. The range versus melee advantage to Allah should keep Harry under the turret constantly, and then Pays and Missing with his Ashe Braum should be able to get their own prowl on the top side. Really opens up Schwim to play for whichever neutral he wants to go for first here, barring any positional mistakes and or lack of vision around these buffs.
Yeah, the other thing I will add about this topside matchup, or the Harry versus Allah matchup, is as soon as Harry gets like access to a couple more spells, he does actually have a lot more damage, and early on Jace doesn't actually have the amount of DPS to actually take down Visante. So level 6 comes through, and we can actually see a 1v1 to go to the side of OMG now. They're going to get this wave to crash. It's an immediate cleanse here, and Sun has not been spotted yet on any vision. Hung is going to be doing his blue buff during all of this. We already see OMG. They're saying we want to fight for this. We cannot let this wave crash, or they might be looking for a dive.
Really trying to play aggressive. Helps that Pays took a pretty big, empowered, piercing arrow there from Starry. So are going to go for the reset here, backing off with Moham able to sustain a bit of extra health back towards him and his partner. And that opens up Hung to just hop right on these grubs here, and will grab the first of many goals towards those feats of strength. Basically uncontested, and Schwinn on the other side, he's still got camps to clear on the bot rotation before he can even really think about going for that dragon.
I think that's a Season 25 diff right there. I mean, the minions dealing more damage to each other, having less HP, that's a complete result of JDG not being able to get that wave in time and set up for a dive. They spent so much of their timer there to actually set that up. Now they're late for the objective. They don't get to be able to do this topside objective. Dragon is being started now here for JDG, but it's only Shen and Missing. So by the time that someone like Hung and Moham get here, I think the objective should be gone. But they can fight for this if they want to and try to chase them out. Aurora's here, has level 6. Hung, walk over to the objective!
Yeah, I was going to say, we don't care about the Vladimir, but he still just drive-by steals it, gets the dragon. All of a sudden, OMG now think they can turn for the fight. Between Worlds thrown down, it's forcing the Sanguine Pool out of Scout, which will provide a bit of distance as Allah and Starry get into their own 1v1. Not enough lethal damage just yet, but still another early game win for OMG.
Why does he just get to walk up like that? I mean, Missing level 4, right? Doesn't have the same amount of access of crowd control to someone like Moham. And Linfeng the entire time is like, I'm going to go fight Scout. And we're here on the broadcast like, 1,400 HP on the dragon. What are we doing? He's walking on over. He just walks in out over 600. 583 is the last number we see there. And Hung gets it with his smite timer, by the way, being almost like 5 seconds off. His smite was just coming off of cooldown there because he was doing the Raptors right before that. So very tight timer coming in for OMG, and that's going to be 2 of the 3 first epic monsters taken, which will be applied towards the feats of strength. But we don't have a first turret. None of these turrets are particularly low. We're probably going to be seeing first blood around this second grub take in about 2 minutes time.
Still so much power for OMG to not necessarily worry about chasing. Maybe a first turret chasing first blood, knowing that they have so much power, but it's maybe Harry that's looking for that first blood with the all-out, tons of damage onto Allah. The Tofo strikes barely short as Allah uses his E to get the speed up and get on out of there, but they're stacking this top side. They might just push for a ton of turret damage here.
They want to get these plates. Good job from Moham and Hung to walk together as a duo. Most of this is going to be going over to Sun, and he will have level 6, which is a very big ultimate to have. Pays with the arrow now. It's going to have to land onto someone if they want to find any kills here.
Oh, just going to go behind his OMG, positioned a bit further ahead of this turret, trying to take command of it. They already got 3 plates out of it, looking for more here. Ultimate's available for Schwinn if he wants to go in with Scout behind. Has the Sanguine Pool, has the ultimate to drop, and here comes the might of JDG. Hung throws down this Crescent Guard, but he is able to pick up the first blood. Schwinn falls first. Starry traded out by Ulla. Now Scout and Ulla can look for the turn. The Scout's looking for rear up with a big Q damage, heals a bunch back. Ulla doesn't get a big punch, and here comes the turn from OMG. Ulla swings in for 1, but he wasn't ready for Linfeng on the side. And OMG are able to limp out with the kill advantage and another goal of feats of strength.
This was one of the issues that I had with JDG coming into this year. We saw it at Demacia Cup. The team was just not on the same page. Some of their early games were not as crisp as we should be expecting from all of these top-level players. And OMG are taking advantage of that. They are playing well on the map early on. They're winning the trades. And with them getting this turret so low, this means that this next grub fight will turn into the first turret as well. They need to be so careful if you're on the side of JDG. As with this fight, excellently played from someone like Hung, who we had a lot of criticism coming into this series with. He makes a great ultimate to kind of open up the fight for the rest of the team. And then Linfeng on the back of this. This 2v2 has done such wonders here so far in their second series in LPL.
Moham as well able to chain knockups alongside Harry to get those chain damage and and grab that first blood goal. And now OMG are just, it almost feels like guaranteed to get these feats of strength. It's such a hard crawl back for JDG. They need to go perfect on these epic monsters, and they're looking to at least punish Hung here. But a flash out from Shooty, he gets chased down by Moham, gets the knockup charm Rakan combo, and now it's lights out for JDG. Missing falls as well to the might of Starry, and that's going to be all she wrote for the feats of strength at 11 minutes for OMG.
They didn't need to fight this. What are JDG doing? I mean, this is the second engage in a row that Shun goes a little too far and ends up costing his team another objective. So we were like, okay, my worry was as long as JDG get one of the grubs, that stops them from picking up all of the feats of strength immediately. But now they'll get the 6 grubs. Now they'll also have priority on top side, which means this turret is also going to fall. This is a massive gold influx coming in from OMG very early on in the series.
Ooh. It was definitely close, though. Pays' volley might have nearly taken, but Hung's looking to get his revenge. Follows Pays over the wall for the flash. Pays has 2 deaths in the LPL so far. Here comes the third to Linfeng and company, knocking down the bottom lane of JDG once more like clockwork.
I don't know if we needed flash for that, Linfeng, but I like the gumption. I like the way that you're thinking about this game of League of Legends here, going against JDG. Huge advantage, like we were just saying, now 3,000 gold ahead, Dragon spawning in 5, and it just feels like JDG are not functional right now. They're chaining deaths. This was a bad time for Pays and missing to go down. They're going to have to reset, and I just don't think they're going to be able to contest for this Dragon now. So 2 Dragons early on, feats of strength immediately here for OMG. We can take a look at this fight again, but yeah, we're just going in. I like this, but missing. If he was just a little closer to this, maybe with the 3 of them they could have found it. It's just not enough damage now, and we're just seeing them slowly trickle into some of these fights.
Moham's Rakan is certainly a pick that's been impressive here. I like the play from Pays. You know, hey, if I stun up Hung and then steal the grub, yeah, maybe we can save feats of strength, but boy, did it end up biting and costing him at the end of the day.
Yeah, I don't know. The Ashe ultimate with 0 setup next to you, you're not even going to be able to really smite contest versus the jungle. I think you look a little desperate, and that's bad to hear so early on. I mean, we saw the level 1, right? Hung got denied level 2 from first Raptor camp thanks to Pays. There are some shenanigans going on with some of the lane allocations, but that hasn't really been, that was kind of the only bad part of the game here for OMG. So they won't contest for this next Dragon, but for OMG, looking to get as much gold in their pockets and fight for this Herald spawning in 2.5 minutes. Once they have this, and with the gold that they'll be gaining from how much turret damage they're putting down, they're in a very strong spot. They already have, across the board, almost all of their first legendary items completed, and that means coming into this Herald fight, they're probably going to be about half an item up on their opponents, which is going to be a really big advantage when we talk about how JDG have been playing some of these fights.
What a shock to start off this series. There's so much on the line for both of these teams. And OMG have come out completely swinging so far, and Harry's looking to push the tempo here towards Alla. Doesn't get the Tofo strikes back though, and does open Alla up for a ton of damage through. Zante's pretty tanky, but we're about to test how tanky, because he just ate 2 entire chase combos, and he's not even at a blinking health bar.
Huns here, they're going to try and find an engage.
Hung and Mohab again combining for all the setup to lock Shun out of his own jungle, and just like the last 2 times, it's going to cause missing his life as well. It's rinse and repeat right now to success for OMG.
Jungle camps, kills on the opponents, and hey, let's throw in a bottom tier 1 tower coming through for OMG. What a banger of an opener here coming up against JDG. We joked about it during the pre-show. We did not expect for OMG to be able to be this dominant so far so early, and Pays almost gets tagged there. Oh! The electrocute. If maybe that was a Blackfire Torch, or we had maybe like a Leandri's early, that could have been a kill, but good enough for them from the side of OMG, opening up 5,000 gold in the first game, 15 minutes here against JDG.
It's already becoming a struggle to see how a comeback could really occur here. The classic scaling argument, I just don't feel like is enough for JDG either, even with the Vladimir, as we just get another look at what Hung and Moham have been doing all game long. I've been so impressed with how the support jungle duo is really combined, and it really feels like the difference maker so far, and what maybe has seriously changed in OMG's approach to some of these games, at least in the early phase, with the playmaking ability between these 2 players.
I think maybe that Moham tweet kind of put the team in order. He's talking a little bit of smack about his teammates to Taeyun. He gets leaked because he's streaming. He has to make an apology, and now OMG rock up against JDG. Hey, look, flame your teammates works, guys. Just kidding. But we've got, I think, a lot of cool stuff happening in.
Whoa!
Oh my God! OMG, we're trying to fight here.
Yeah, they're flashing after missing, uses the blast cone, then flashes. Glacial Fissure down, missing, buying a lot of time and space here, but it's just not enough at this point in the game. The item difference, the gold difference is too little for JDG to overcome right now.
Otacons in 4 minutes coming up. Maybe that'll be how we see them come back from this as a side from JDG. But now it's going to be Herald. You're looking at 6 grubs, so anywhere they drop this Herald, there's going to be a turret going down. Most likely going to be happening in mid lane, as we do have Dragon spawning in 2 minutes. What a great opener from OMG, and we need to see them actually close this out. We've seen tons of teams, especially teams on the lower end of our projected scaling or group stage kind of endings, but we need to see them actually close out games. There's been so many series that have had very close games. I think of LGD versus AL. I think of some of the RNG FPX series as well. Those have been very difficult as Linfeng, and he gets out.
Oh, the between
Let's
worlds.
go.
Man, nothing can go right for JDG right now. Even that was a perfectly set up pick play, perfectly baited in. It just doesn't matter. Nothing going right.
They cannot get onto this Aurora. That is just one of the reasons. So coming into the season, I don't know how you felt about this, but I was on the fence as to what the power level of Aurora and Mbessa was going to be. They're new champions to League of Legends. Typically on release, new champions are very, very broken, but I was a little bit lower on Mbessa than a lot of folks. I think that her top lane matchups were particularly difficult. I feel like she maybe would have taken in a fearless spot similar to something like a Yone. Top lane is just too many bruisers, champions that she doesn't particularly deal well with. But Aurora, I thought that this champion was going to do maybe a lot less than what we've seen, but players like Xiaohu, even Linfeng in this game, have really started to show how powerful this champion can be in the right hands, especially with the Electrocute combo. So I want to see more from them. 2 items almost completed for some of the members here of OMG coming into this dragon fight. I don't even think they need to really fight for this. They can force JDG away from this objective, and even on the opposite side, what else are JDG getting? There's nothing standing on the top side of the map for them.
OMG can really just hands check JDG whenever they try and step anywhere near neutrals, turrets by this point. The power of the setup and damage, like you pointed out, from Linfeng and Starry already coming across. I mean, this Varus is already at that first major power spike. The Rage Blade coming through with the Blade of the Rune King. He's just going to shred health bars whenever JDG even try and engage. It's just becoming too little too late by the second for JDG. And it's even more important to point out, Alk, when we talk about how the group expected to shake out. Remember, Weibo dropped the game to Ultra Prime, so for everybody who's expecting back-to-back sweeps here to give JDG the top spot for now, those are quickly dashing to the wayside.
It is a best of 5. It's only one game. We've seen TES win game 1 and then lose the series. We've seen, who is the other team? It was actually Weibo up against AL in the Demacia Cup. They won game 1, and then they lost 3 games back-to-back. So anything is possible. I did kind of have JDG as a sleeping giant here in the LPL. They seemed particularly very slow in their ability to kind of coordinate team fights. We saw them in Demacia Cup, and we are getting some of that here. And to be fair, their first matchup was against Ultra Prime, one of the weaker teams here in the group, and I think in the total standings of LPL. So I do want to see what this JDG team can do as more time is kind of given to them throughout the season.
Tank v tank, who's going to get the reinforcements first? It's going to be JDG as Shun shows up, commits the cease and desist. But remember, this is Cassante. How much time can this tanky bruiser buy? Not enough for now, and that teleport is coming through for Linfeng. And I don't think this Aurora's got the juice to really find these trade kills. A gift of back-to-back shutdowns and some light at the end of the tunnel for JDG.
They're going to grab themselves a turret. They got the teleport as well from Linfeng. Huge mistake coming in from OMG solo laners, but it'll open up a Otacon started here for OMG. Yeah, I don't think they're going to be able to get it on their solo laners. It just takes too much time, and look at how much of the map right now that JDG are getting. Mid-tier 1, bottom tier 2, a massive influx of gold here coming into JDG that opens up so much of the lead that was here from OMG. This is what I was talking about earlier. Great early game. How do you close out? It needs to be strong against a team like JDG. You have so many experienced members on this roster.
A sleeping giant that can be easily woken from his slumber is what we're starting to see from JDG. Yeah, look at that gold graph already starting to collapse here. And we do have some itemization starting to match up between especially these carries. Pays has done a pretty good job after that one pick trying to save the feats of strength to farm up pretty efficiently, put him on a similar stature to Starry, both at 2 items currently. As we get a look back at that one big mistake we've seen from OMG so far in a nearly flawless match.
Okay, so what exactly set this up? It was literally just Harry versus Ala. Kind of what we were talking about earlier was that once Harry kind of picks up some more abilities, the 1v1 is not as cut and dry as I'm playing a ranged champion, so I automatically beat you. And Cassante is a very, very potent duelist. Great interrupt from Shun there. If he doesn't land that, Linfeng maybe gets out. But now we're seeing back to live, 6 grubs, you've got yourself the Otacon respawn on 3 of the members here. Oh, 4 of the members. Wait, so it persists through even if you respawn? That's broken, because you don't get that with Baron, right? You take Baron, and it's only the members that were alive. For Otacon, it doesn't matter if you were dead during it, you still get the respawn?
How did this make it to live?
Everyone get your riots. Yeah, we need to nerf this already, bro. We got rid of Chemtech Drake for less.
Oh my god, but JDG still want to fight through to try and claim some of these small bounties, but they're getting cut down under their own turret. Big Crescent Guard through the Aurora damage is nearly enough for Linfeng to be gifted a pair of kills. Good Vault Breaker and Flash from Shun will get him out for now. Aldo's going to try and pick up some of these voracious Otacon revives. Gets 1, gets 2, gets 3, and guess what Alda gets for all that? 300 gold.
Hey, look. You only got 300 gold. It was a lot of ultimates being used, but look at what was spent from the side of JDG. No flash on Shun, Scout, or Pays. Those are going to be big ticket finds in the next upcoming fights. We've got Baron in 2 minutes, which means those summoner spells will be no longer available, as this is just kind of what you do now when you have this Otacon buff. We've talked about it every single series here in the LPL. There's only been Voracious across all levels of pro play, and you just get to do this. You get to do stupid stuff like diving under their tier 2 turret in mid lane, and you lose 500 gold in total. Everybody has lost their shieldings here, and it's just because of not only them diving, but really great play from Ala. He's so tanky, and this Shock Blast gets both of them.
JDG, I know it hurts to give up that tier 2 turret mid lane, and they end up not, but like you called out, key summoners are going to be down, and they'll persistently be down for when this Baron spawns onto the map. So OMG's still in a pretty pivotal spot to find that true gold injection. I know Voracious Otacon is the talk of the town, but don't forget about the Purple Worm and how much it can do for your game state.
Oh, there's no Ashe ultimate. Okay, thank you to
Yeah.
our observers. Great replay there. Thankfully, we didn't have to do a full screen. LPL has been they've been a big fan of full screen replays for a long time, but I'm glad we got to see a pip of why exactly Pays is missing his Enchanted Crystal Arrow. So setting up through mid, you have all of these turrets down. Again, you have 6 grubs, so you can't play on the opposite side of the map. Dragon is spawning here, and JDG are a bit split. There's some members in this top side, in this bottom side jungle. Some of them are kind of corralling around the tri-brush. Scout showing, and it's going to be very tricky for Shun here as he is out of vision. And I want to see how they're able to turn this fight for the side of JDG.
Saying we pull out a scout for now. That one get out of jail free card for the Vladimir. Keep your eye on Shun though in the background, trying to find a flank, but Harry is going to spot him out, and that's a 1v1 that Shun just does not win. And we've got flanks inception going on, but both have been cut out. What a turn from Pays! Doesn't let Linfeng even try and go for the big Aurora combination. And now JDG breathing some light here, stepping up, taking control of this dragon. Flashes be damned. They find the pick, and they should just pick up this dragon. Somehow Shun gets away from Harry on the other side of the lane as well. JDG are just finding ways to force themselves back into this one.
Losing their mid laner there opens up the dragon. JDG fight back in this game. And I think it's happening, Slayer. I think we're witnessing JDG make a massive comeback from early game deficits, losing the feats of strength, losing the Otacon off of 2 plays back-to-back here. Linfeng getting spotted by great vision here from JDG. And Pays in a fantastic spot. This Ashe ultimate, how does that land? What the? I would be so pissed if I was Linfeng there. Harry goes absolutely nuts to try to kill Shun there. Great use of the ultimate means that he gets the unstoppable during all of this. And now we're back to live. JDG!
It's Moham looking for the X Factor he brought in the early game, and he's got flashes out of Shun and missing immediately. Between Worlds used, not going to hold Scout in place, gets a huge heal for a ton of his health, and then goes right into the Sanguine Pool right when you think you have Scout cornered. He turns it on its head. Ash Arrow down. Pays is starting to spray and pray his way through the fight as supports get traded, but it's JDG stepping up, finding their time, finding their moment, and it's through their carry. Scout and Pays are unrelenting. 5K gold lead be damned. JDG are back in the driver's seat.
They don't care if they are down however much gold. All they need to do is get into a good team fight positioning and let their hands do the talking here. Baron is up. I don't think it's going to be an objective that we're looking for quite yet here. And with that team fight, JDG crest over 10,000 kills. What a unique stat to have for an organization. And a great one that we're bringing in. But yeah, JDG have looked so good in a lot of these team fights, and this was one of the problems that we had with OMG. Not only with their ability to close out, but just the lack of precision from a squad like this. Moham a little too far up. One of the problems with this team that we saw during Demacia Cup. And now we've used a lot of cooldowns for very little, just to try to get half HP onto Shun when he already has the Sterix. I think that's a tough sell. This fight is just so disgusting.
1100 HP heal. It's the empowered Q off his old heal, and that's what makes the difference. Scout buys so much space for Pays to get that Q stacked up, get reeling with this Ashe damage. This is why you draft the Vladimir, why JDG are so potent in these team fights. It's the Scout X Factor. How many times have you heard that before in the LPL?
He's had such great games. Obviously a legendary player here coming over from Korea. I was looking at Scout's team history. He is one of the few players that have really stuck with orgs for a very long time. Was one of the players on SKT Telecom 1 when they were kind of playing in Korea.
We're just blowing Moham out of the water. That is no Braum. He cannot survive. The Crescent Guard through from Hung, trying to at least block out the Pays damage. They do trade Shun out as well, but Ala trying to step up with that tankier Jace. Missing jumps in front of him with the shield. Scout into the backline. Does not heal in time. His ult doesn't bail him out. So how does the fight look now for OMG without the Vladimir to deal with? Hung says it's mine to take down with Starry. This game is wishy-washy as hell, but OMG just broke it open for an ace.
We get to see the star carries here of OMG, Linfeng and Starry, come up huge in this fight. Starry finally has his moment. 3-item Varus is able to outglide Pays in a fight, and now they're starting up the Baron. OMG, they are not wanting this game to go anywhere near an end. We're at 28 and 45 right now in this, and Moham yet again in a spot by himself, gets caught out by JDG. But the turn on this fight, the chokehold that they have here in this spot, it's bad terrain, Pace can't really walk forward, and Linfeng just jumps over the wall with his between two worlds and rips apart the fight. I mean, even Scout here, he's waiting for that last second heal. He flashes forward to try to get Linfeng, but a flash means he's out. All of the crowd control that's coming in from Hung and from this Cassante. Great job from OMG's front line. And now we just get to all revel in Starry outplaying this fight.
It's once again Hung as well, just constantly flashing confidence, playmaking ability. It's the setup and the damage dealers coming together, and it's what OMG needs. They need that synergy to continue with the way this game is just flip-flopped like a seesaw. But you could see the difference that you have to keep a mind on as this game goes forward. How much impact and space does Scout buy? How much power and a punch does Linfeng and Starry bring? These carries the damage dealers needed. And how important is it for Hung now? They've got the purple banner, but this Xin Zhao, it's so hard to knock down. I kind of love this early GA rush with how much space the Crescent Guard can buy OMG.
Yeah, 6 grubs alongside this Baron is also going to mimic it very easy for them to knock down turrets. So all of the outers no longer available for JDG.
Oh, Shwoon! He wants Starry. Glacial Fisher gets the knockup, but none of the damage dealers are getting towards Starry. In goes Scout now, but he's lost his jungler. Starry is just a juggernaut that nobody can touch. He's chasing Scout down on the other side of the fight as the rest of his squad blows JDG out of the water. This ace is gonna seal it. OMG, upset game 1. Ace and time to send them to the great screen.
Oh boy, we've got a series on our hands. We thought this was going to be a JDG 3-0. If I looked at the talent predictions, everybody's got this going at
Definitely
least
me.
for JDG. And they've just taken it in convincing fashion. A great early game, maybe a suspect mid-game there, but they close it out in 31 minutes, 23-10 versus JDG.
Wow.